Now, thank you all for coming out. Have any of you seen one of my shows before? Have I driven everybody away besides Trudy? Oh, darn. I've done some of these shows at the Guild Cinema before, and haven't had a crowd like this, so I'm glad you guys are all here. The way it works is my new good friend Dan here will be operating the DVD player, and I will introduce a clip. We'll show the clip, and I'll talk about it for a moment afterwards, and then we go to the next clip. Movie making in New Mexico pretty much started in 1896, and there was a short, not really a film, but a short piece shot at the Esteta Pueblo. It's called Indian Day School, and you can find that on YouTube if you go to Indian Day School. It shows some Esteta children going in and out of school and laughing and carrying on. You can kind of see, it's interesting because you can kind of see the cultural differences that were taking place during that time as well, because all the Indian children are dressed in Anglo clothes and have haircuts and so on and so forth. The Albuquerque kind of started about 15 years afterward, and there were some films that were shot, some short things that were shot that have since been lost or I cannot find. They were mostly documentary type things, short documentaries. One was called Fire Drill, Albuquerque Indian School, Carpenter Work, and Laguna Indian Foot Race, and they're all considered lost. First one we're going to see here is not lost, as you can tell. It was shot in 1912. It's the entire film. It's like about 12 minutes long. And the second and third clips in this show are not actual films themselves, but I include them because I think they're kind of interesting, especially the third one, which you'll get a good laugh at. I encourage you to laugh, speak up, don't throw things, but everything else is okay. It's fun to do this, and I've done this for, gosh, about 10 years now around the state, and I really like doing it. Albuquerque, this is one of the first ones you'll see that was shot in Albuquerque, and we'll go from there. And depending on the time, we'll go up to about 2005 or so. And I'll talk a little bit about each film as we show it. And a lot of these films you've probably never heard of before. A lot of these films you probably never want to see again because they're so lousy. And this is all in fun. I'm not deadly serious. So thanks again for coming out. And Dan, if you're ready, we can go ahead. Trixie was played by Mabel Normand, who was a really fine actress, and she was also a director back in the early days of film. She was at times compared to Charlie Chaplin and Fatty Arbuckle. She became embroiled in a whole bunch of scandals. However, she was one of Hollywood's first catastrophes, you might say. She got involved with drugs, and a director who didn't care for her, and she died around 1930 or so. Part of that was shot at Esleda Pueblo, and also at the train station as well. And the reason that a lot of early films were shot in Albuquerque was because of the train station. The train would always stop here, and they have some other things on other discs which are rather amazing, shall we say. And that show the train station as well. One of them has Jerry Lewis as an American Indian. That's not on this show. So the next one's not a film. It's something I found by accident, and I have no information on it at all. It's Teddy Roosevelt, if you can find number
Jeff,
2.
before you go on, I mean, that had so many stereotypes and just
It did, yeah.
embarrassingly awful stereotypes of Native Americans.
Yeah, it was it was filmed in 1912, which was, back in the day when they treated American Indians like that. So
another interesting thing, the smokestack. So the rail yards had their own power station. They burned coal, and that huge smokestack was probably from the Albuquerque Rail, the Atchison, Topeka, Santa Fe power plant.
oh, okay.
That smokestack got torn down about 1980 or so. But I thought that was interesting. You could see the smokestack and the smoke. It created a lot of pollution.
I bet.
It was coal burning.
Oh dear. Yeah. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The grandstands?
Yeah.
Territorial, the Territorial State Fair.
Okay.
Which is down near what, 8th Street or?
No, down by Old
Near
Town.
Brandon Center.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in the museum, there's a big picture of him talking to that crowd with details on it in one of the exhibits.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe the only in Albuquerque.
Yeah, it is, it's there.
Yeah.
I know at that time it wanted to be a state. We weren't.
It's 1916.
1918, so we were a state.
Was it?
He was here in '06.
Oh, he was here
I was here too then.
before
So.
that.
Okay. Thank you for your info on this, by the way. Next one, I love this one. This is not a film. This is really, I don't know, makes me smile every time I see it. It's part of a advertisement, shall we say, for movie stars. Okay, ready?
Dawn finds our air voyagers flying over the Texas Panhandle and the colorful mesas of New Mexico. It's a fairyland of tumbling castles far above where the raindrops form. Bridging the horizons in 7-league boots, our passengers ride comfortably in altitude-conditioned cabins. Let's take a peek in the Stratoliner and see how our passenger is doing. Why, of course, like every woman, she's taking a last look in the mirrors of the Stratoliner's charm room. Bienvenido, buenos dias, señorita. She is trimly tailored in a Cyril Johnson covert cloth suit. Met by Dee Lawrence, fashion editor of Paramount, Esther is told she is to get off her plane and act in a location picture with 4 other studio players, just now landing from Hollywood. First is lovely Martha O'Driscoll of screen and radio fame. Margaret Hayes from the New York stage in Hollywood is next, while pretty Virginia Dale follows and waves to movie fans gathered at the airport. Take notice of the smart airplane luggage that the air passengers are using. It's Halliburton luggage, especially travel tested by TWA for air passengers. Metal alloys make for lightweight and durability. As the baggage is unloaded, we hear a rhythmic chant. A group of Pueblo Indians who are to appear with Esther in the screen test beat out a buffalo dance, while a bronzed young brave stamps out the ancient hunting steps of the Navajos. His bow and arrow marks the cadence as he flourishes them in the dance. Quiet, action, camera. You are now seeing the color screen test of Esther made through the lens of the studio camera. Esther, changed into ceremonial garb, now makes her first bid for fame in Hollywood. Good luck, Esther. In the meantime, let's visit Isleta Pueblo with Margaret Hayes and Virginia Dale, who have some spare time for sightseeing. Virginia wears a desert blue reefer coat cut in the casual style. Margaret's adobe tan top coat, tossed carelessly over her shoulder, blends with the crumbling adobe ruins. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indian girls. Perhaps your garments were inspired by the rich colorings worn by these Indian women. Margaret next meets Louise Abeta, pretty Indian girl who has written a children's book illustrated beautifully by an Indian artist friend. The girls next visit the mission of San Antonio de Isleta, built in 1621, just 1 year after the Mayflower landed on our eastern shores. Here in the faith brought them by Coronado in 1620, the Pueblo Indians reverently worship the God of the white man. Margaret and Virginia keep a dinner engagement in Albuquerque at the Alvarado. Margaret wears a flowered evening dress of crown-tested rayon, topped off with a white fox short jacket. Virginia wears a two-toned cactus green dinner gown with an evening wrap of Russian lynx. two other charmingly dressed girls wait in the lobby. This is a stunning burgundy leaf evening dress with a white background of crown-tested rayon. The gray silver fox jacket is worn casually. Here is a brilliant plaid dinner dress with a tight-fitting jacket and with a knotted scarf worn around the shoulders. Note how pockets are outlined in the same jersey material as the skirt.
Hi. I was pretty amazed when I came across that, and I'm still amazed every time I watch it. Mary Martin was kind of a semi-famous star for a while, but the other women never made it. So they go on to California from here, and it gets worse, if you can believe that. And if you thought there was a lot of stereotypes in the first clip, wait till you check out the next one, which made a lot of money at the box office.
That book that the girl showed, I think we have that book at Special Collections. And it's an illustrated children's level text.
Okay.
The best scene in that is a painting of an Orno, and the young lady who's the daughter of the governor says, "We get tourists in here, and they often ask us, is that a doghouse?"
Tourists, yes. Anyway, next one is made, like I said, a fortune at the box office. And I'm sure you'll see why.
Read that back.
Burton Hughes, Hughesfield, El Manzo, New Mexico. Dear Bert, when the matter of securing property for the new training center first received government approval, I immediately tossed your name in the hat.
That's right. All I had to do really was to remind them that Hughes Field belonged to General Hughes, your dad. The greatest man ever to climb into a cockpit. So you can blame me for turning your highly respectable civilian flying school into a Bombardier's training post. It all started as a crazy experiment perpetrated by an old friend of mine, Major Chick Davis. Personally, I'm afraid it's due for a nosedive. Who ever heard of building a vault to keep a trick glass eye in? They'll probably use it for a mausoleum one of these days to bury poor old Chick and his dream. I suppose Chick's assistants have already got the first classes of cadets underway. And almost any day now, Major Davis will be arriving to take charge.
How do you like it here, Sergeant?
Plenty of room, sir.
We'll change that. From now on, it's the Bombardier School.
Hello, Major.
Hello, Chaplain.
A long time no see.
Yes, it's been too long. How's it going, Lieutenant? At ease.
Pretty good, I think, sir. The first class graduates 3 weeks from today. The morale seems good with the men and cadets.
Good. But why all the women?
Well, frankly, sir, we find them more efficient in this type of work.
Maybe so, but it's gonna be awful tough getting used to it. I never soldiered with women in all my life. Well, Sarge, where do I park, or do I work here for morale?
Your office right in here, Major.
That's it, gentlemen. I'll see you on the line. You're kidding, aren't you?
Don't blame me, sir.
Oh, my.
Do you think the Major would like some tea?
You think you'd like a chew of my tobacco?
Don't be silly, Sergeant.
It's just as unlogical. Well, hello. Who hired you? What's your name?
My name is Burton Hughes.
After her grandfather, General Burton Hughes. So you're the fellow that owns the place, huh?
Well, I did own it, but I've turned the property over to my brother Tom.
That's their father in that picture over there. General Tom Hughes. Standing right by me. All right, Sergeant. Leave a couple of desks in here, but get some hard chairs. After all, this is the Army, not a sorority house. And take grandfather's picture down. He said the Wright brothers couldn't fly him.
Yes, sir.
Leave that one up. He not only flew him, he bombed him.
Yes, sir.
Leave the filing cabinets here. I'll be working 25 out of 24 hours a day. Leave the mirror here because I want to shave. And Sergeant, get everything else out of here. And I mean everything.
Just a minute, Major. If you'll examine the lease, you'll find that I still hold a job here.
All right, so you still hold a job here. But straighten your stocking. The right one.
Sergeant, I suggest you get the Major an officer's guide. There's an interesting chapter on good manners.
He's just like your father. Don't you remember how the general used
I
to...
wouldn't remember.
At the box office. It was released during World War II, obviously. And it's kind of that way all the way through it, except there's some fight scenes as well. Excuse me. Bombardier. Yeah. You can never forget it now. Right? Now, it was edited by a guy named Robert Wise, who was also the second assistant director, and he became a really famous director later on himself, doing a lot of film noir kind of films.
And that was before, I mean,
It was during World War II, yeah. Yeah. All right, next one.
You know, I made almost 90 movies, some good, some bad. But one of my favorites is Lonely as the Brave. Now that was a book called Brave Cowboy by Edward Albee. But the studio insisted on changing it to Lonely as the Brave. I didn't like that title. I wanted to call it The Last Cowboy. But I like Lonely as the Brave very much. The only objection I have to it, that most of the audience sympathize more to my horse, Whiskey, than they did to me. But that's show business.
I saw the film at a drive-in for the first time. And when I first saw the movie, you know, I was a kid, and it didn't have really any significant action. It had a very interesting kind of pursuit at the end, where they dog him up the mountain. And it had a really good fight. I remember the fight as a kid. But the rest of the film kind of just sort of faded into, you know, the wanton, hungry memory of a young kid just wanting epic drama and big color CinemaScope productions. And it wasn't until later that I rediscovered Lonely or the Brave, and in rediscovering it, found it to be one of my favorite films.
A man named David Miller, may he rest in peace, was the director. And he was a competent, fine gentleman.
David did, I think, a very good job. But when you say a director did a good job, he has to have a good script and good actors. Then he can do a good job.
There was a big lesson about what a great screenplay can mean.
Lonely as the Brave was written by my friend Dalton Trumbo. Not long before that, he wrote the script for me, Spartacus, in which we broke the blacklist because he was a blacklisted writer. He spent a year in jail, and he had to use a false name. I hired him with a false name of Sam Jackson. I felt like such a hypocrite. I couldn't stand it, so I insisted on putting his real name on the script, and that broke the blacklist.
Dalton Trumbo wrote a magnificent screenplay that was a great comment about society at the time. I remember so clearly the opening of The Cowboy, and you think you're watching an old-time Western with dawn breaking and a cowboy getting ready to saddle up his horse, and all of a sudden you hear, he looks up at the sky and you see this jet going overhead. And it was such a great metaphor for setting up this whole structure of the end of the West as we know it, and a man and his horse trying to cross the West, having to cut through barbed wire fences, struggling to get across a highway as the horse is spooked by cars and trucks going along. on his way to see a buddy who's in trouble. I think it's my favorite picture that Dad has done, and I think it's his favorite too. One thing that always struck me is how kind of against character he played at the time. Dad was sort of known for that, that intensity and that energy. And in Lonely Are the Brave, he had a relaxation and an ease and a grace that was unique.
It's flat, all right. I have to change it.
Don't be ridiculous, sister. You can't handle that monster. Out of gas, a flat tire in the middle of nowhere. What next?
Maybe there's a town or a ranch somewhere. I'll start walking, Mother. Maybe I can get a lift.
We haven't seen a car in the last half hour, and you couldn't possibly walk in this heat. Doesn't anyone live in New Mexico?
Mother, she can't do that. She just can't do that. I mean, it's humiliating.
Humiliating my foot. It's the way the Blessed Virgin rode into Bethlehem, isn't it? Giddy up.
She blows. Help's coming!
How'd do, ladies?
That was Robert Taylor, who the young lady was fainting at, and that's his last film as well. This film made a fortune at the box office as well, and it was a sequel to another film that had the term angels in it, and where angels go, something happens. I'm not sure what it is, though. Eat pizza or something like that. I don't know. But this was a film partially in New Mexico, partially in Albuquerque. That wasn't Albuquerque, obviously, but that was near Santa Fe. It was also shot around Galisteo, San Ildefonso Pueblo, and the Eves Movie Ranch. Trouble with Angels is the movie that it was based or followed up to. Pretty funny, actually. It's pretty good.
Where's the Eves Movie Ranch?
South of Santa Fe. It's kind of near the Bonanza Creek Ranch. Next one, if anybody's seen this film, I'd be really surprised. This is number 7, if you can get to that one.
Too late to change what has already happened.
I've been watching you people for some time now.
Who are you, anyway?
I'm a Texas Ranger, of the Texas Rangers. Though steeped in tradition and glorious history, we still remain the most modern, forward-looking, peacekeeping agency in the world today.
Your breath smells like Tootsie Rolls.
Sorry, it's been a long, lonely stakeout. I'm out here looking for some runaway slaves. If you hear anything, you let me know, won't you?
Oh, yes.
Remember, we always get our man.
No, that's the Mounties.
We don't like your type in these parts, kid. Dirty, unwashed hippie anarchists coming into Texas.
Texas, man. This is New Mexico.
That's right. Right.
New Mexico? No wonder I feel so ineffectual. I'm out of my natural environment. Pardon me, ma'am. Have a good day.
It's our image. We're scaring people. Sloppy, dirty, long-haired, food-stained. We've got to immerse ourselves in respectability. Dress invisibly. Like the silent majority. Fit in. Conform.
Hey, Levine's. I think I have an account here.
We all do now. I got one left in the roll. Let me get all of you. Now smile. Good.
Hey, a country club.
4.
Look, our kind of people. We'll fit right in.
Hi,
We know who you are.
Who am I?
Don't get metaphysical.
You're the filthy trash who tear up and down the fairways, crazy with dope smoke and cheap wine, seducing young, innocent girls, while us decent folk foot the bill. Get the marshal.
Right, Luz.
Hey, what's going on here?
We caught this riffraff just about to rip off our beautiful course, Marshal McLuhan.
No, we were just playing through.
I say we run him out of town.
That's not the American way. Underneath those ridiculous clothes and destructive attitudes, there beats a heart crying, "Give me another chance." Who knows? They may be just around the dogleg from good citizenship. Everything you need to make it here is in that machine. Opportunity, security, self-respect. One day you may be wearing this insignia. And that's democracy in action.
You know, a good woman is like a steel brush. Think about it.
Do you want to talk about your experience in that film, sir?
That was gas. We
Gas.
found it necessary to destroy the earth in order to save it.
Anyone-
Some type of bomb went off and everybody over 30 was killed.
Yep.
And they've got to make their way from Dallas to Acoma. And I was, I played the Bowling Indian. And I basically told them, take back everything you've given us, you know, the fake blankets, the pottery, this type of thing. I got my Internet Movie Database credit from this. The really funny thing is Roger Corman was the director. It was the last movie he directed. He became a producer after that. Years later, my daughter started dating this movie executive in Los Angeles. And we got talking and he told me that he had production credits for some of the Roger Corman films. And I said, oh, do you know Corman? He says, yeah, he's my boss. So I told him, well, I met your boss before you married my daughter.
But I had a great scene with Ben Vereen.
Wow.
But the cast is really great.
It is. Cindy Williams is in it.
Yeah, Cindy Williams is in
Talia Shire. Bud Cort.
Bud Cort.
Yeah.
What they did is a lot of the actors had been in Hair on Broadway, and that's where they were recruited.
Okay.
What year was this?
What's that?
What year was this done in?
1970 was when it was filmed. I was at the University of Albuquerque, and they had just done production of Royal Under the Sun, and I played an Inca translator. And they, the casting people were there. They cast me to do the part.
Where was the golf course?
I think it's
Socorro. It looks like Socorro.
I think it's I was gonna say Socorro. It's a horribly it's a dreadful movie. You can go on YouTube and see it. The weirdest thing about it is they didn't have sound crews out there, so everything was dubbed afterwards.
Oh.
So I come out with this very squeaky voice. But I saw it at the local theater, and it's such a strange thing to see your face on, sides of the screen.
Yeah, it was filmed partially in Albuquerque, Belen, Grant, Socorro, which is probably where the golf course is, and also at Acoma. One of the taglines for it, it said, "It became necessary to destroy the world in order to save it." The movie's so bad they didn't need gas to do that. So, thank you, sir. You're a star.
It was funny because after that they started getting. There was a casting agent kept trying to get me into films playing in India, and I went to the Indian schools down on 12th Street when I was there, and there were all these people auditioning. There were Apache and Navajo, and I got the part. This was in the sequel to the Billy Jack film.
Okay.
And I went up and said, "Why me?" And they said, "Well, everybody else looks too Asian."
Wow.
But you figure at the time it was Carlos Montalban, Chuck Connors. These were the people playing Native Americans. Donna Reed.
Burt Lancaster.
Yes.
Jerry Lewis.
Well, let's move along. It's about 10 till 3.
Okay. This will be the last one then?
No, it's not how the last one. Can't we go over?
Okay. Okay, I'm just one solid lump of paint. Makes you happy, doesn't it?
You bet. Because now you know, robbing banks is not for you.
That's what you think. I like that one.
Oh, you won't get 85 cents out of that box.
I bet I will.
Hey, you weren't making any deposits, were you?
Why, what's the problem?
The farms that underpay the migrant workers. They're owned by the U.S. Bank of New Mexico. We're picketing the branches to make people aware.
Then I won't make a deposit.
You should make a withdrawal.
Oh, I will.
You're not going to do anything now, are you? Money. Money.
Young man, would you give me some dimes for this, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. See you again, ma'am.
You will. This is going to be easy. No problem.
Oh, yeah? What about that? That camera up there. It takes a picture of everybody that goes to that counter. You pull anything, bang, they got your picture.
That's no problem. I love your outfit. Where'd you get it?
not too late to back out, lady.
No, I've made up my mind. Now let's see. This is a stick-up.
No. Come on, let's
No,
get out of here.
I've got a gun in my purse. Put all that money in my purse.
Paper bag.
Why is it always a paper bag?
Because it is. It's been a paper bag for years.
Betty Davis sued the studio for that because she was told one thing, that it was going to be like a social comment movie and turned out to be like a real blah comedy. And she won. It didn't make much at the box office, and it was, excuse me, a low point in both their careers, I think, because it was really rather cheesy as well. I don't have any other info handy on it, except that it was once called, during the working title, it was called Bunny and Claude. So they did, yeah. Is the ending where they have that race through the mall? Do you remember? Yeah, the ending is the one that, yeah, the old mall. There's a chase through an abandoned mall here in Albuquerque, but I like this scene better. So, yeah, you can tell by the theater, the Oñate Theater in the background there was part of that. The next one is one of the worst movies ever made. It's made for TV, and the actress who plays the mayor of Albuquerque has every single scene. She has a different outfit. So you'll see two outfits sort of in this scene, if we can get there.
On the hook, and if I can pull him in, it might get better. Might get better. Oh yeah. Might get better. I got a chance to hit the ball, and if they don't throw a curve, my friend, it might get better. Might get better. Oh yeah. Might get better. Oh, if I can only win, oh, this crazy game might get better. I got a fish on the hook, and if I can pull him in, it might get better. Might get better. Yeah. I got a chance to hit the ball, and if they don't throw a curve, my friend, it might get better. Might get better. Ooh-wee. Might get better. Gonna try again. Might get better. This time I'll find a way. Might get better. Might get better. Might get better. My head. Might get better. Might get better. Might get better. Try to forget. Might get better. Might get better. Might get better. Yes. Might get better. Oh yeah. Might get better. The best I can.
You know, I don't trust this black man. Yeah, I know what you mean. But you know what to do. Right. Hey, speak of the devil, I think he's coming. All right, I'm gonna go meet him. We can talk here, but how do you know I was Mr. Corona?
I want to see that one again. So the title, there's me again, hello. The title of that is Run, N-Word, Run. And the reason for that is because back in the 70s, African American people were trying to make a name for themselves in a film. You've probably heard of the film Shaft, things like that. Any number of other films came out at that time. A lot of them, not a lot of them, well, a number of them were shot in New Mexico, including some Westerns, one that stars Richard Pryor, which you have to see to believe. It's just hysterical. He made up his whole dialogue as he went along. This one was like, well, maybe not. The best one I've seen is called Thomasine and Bushrod, and it's kind of based on a true story. And it's kind of a Bonnie and Clyde type thing, but it's pretty good considering the budget that they had, which was probably $3 or something. This one's terrible. This is really, really terrible. The guy that's stalking the black man there, who wants to know what happens to him? I'm not telling. He dies. But the blacks were always the heroes in the 70s films that they were in, like in Shaft and things like that, which was really good because it helped them get a foothold into the film industry at that time. But don't watch this one in spite of the stupid title. And they named him that. They did it that way on. There's another one. Excuse my language. There's another one called Legend of Nigger Charlie, and that was a Western. I think Fred Williams starred in that, and it was a very, very huge hit for them, for Williamson and the crew that made it. Not a very good movie, but it's still a huge hit. Can you get to number 9 or 8 or 10?
The 4 murders of 4 Albuquerque women remains a mystery to authorities. Police Chief Cam Wilson says they are still investigating several clues, but he remains frustrated. Albuquerque Mayor Pat Sparks has pressured the police to increase their investigation, but thus far, no new leads have turned up.
Thanks for meeting me, Jimmy.
Well, now am I about to hear that you think building the Southwestern Center is just one wonderful idea?
Did you hear about what happened to my mother's store?
Well, yeah, some kind of real bad mess. Gee, I sure hope she has insurance.
Let's talk about your partner.
Now, curiosity and all that. Let's just say that my partners are the kind of people that once their minds are set, they get what they want, Pat.
Oh, yeah, the mysterious partners from wherever. I meant your local partner.
Say, you wanted to see me. Are you gonna vote for this thing or what?
Who runs interference for you? Somebody who knows all the ins and even more of the outs. Who is it, Jimmy?
Isn't anybody.
Oh, no. You get too much done and you get it done too fast not to be involved with somebody in the local power structure. Ooh, made you blink.
This thing's gonna get built one way or another. When all is said and done, people are gonna be calling it the crown jewel of the region. And you're gonna be remembered as the mayor who didn't want it. That's if you're remembered at all.
crown jewel, huh?
Yeah, that's what everybody's calling it. Wait a minute, where are you going? Hey, wait, whoa! You know what I could be doing for you?
Yes, nothing.
I got a lot riding on this. And believe you me, sister, so do you.
I think that was surreal. I don't know much about this movie except it was made for TV and it's not very good. And she has a great, like I said, she has a great wardrobe, and that guy with the hat doesn't really get what he wants, shall we say. We okay in time? Should I keep going?
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, what?
Victoria Principal.
Yeah, it's Victoria Principal as the actress in that, yeah. Number 11, which is a good movie, actually.
I gotta talk to you.
Okay.
I have to move in with you and Oscar for a while.
Why?
Just temporarily, just until I get my own place.
You lost the house.
No.
Dad, how could you lose the house?
I didn't lose the house. I sold the house. I had a very good business opportunity and I took it.
I hope it's not shrimp.
No, it's not. It's nothing fly by night. I have a partner. I have a really good partner who knows the ropes, and I'm going to be working under them.
Dad. Since 1963?
Yeah, it gives a sense of stability. People like that.
It's a lie.
Well, it's a business lie. It's different from a life lie.
I can live with that.
You'll be the boss.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You get used to it.
Their cleaning service cleans up after murders. But it's rather comical for sure. And Alan Arkin, who used to live in New Mexico and died recently, has a great role in this film. He plays a con man father who finally comes to good times, shall we say, with his daughter. There's also two love stories, two young people in there, and then another one as well. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. And the last one, number 12, I think, you'll probably recognize this.
Some hardened criminal, Walt. You are in over your head. No. That's what we tell them. That's the truth.
No, it's not the truth.
Of course it is. A school teacher, cancer, desperate for money.
Okay, we're done here.
Roped into working for, unable to even quit. You told me that yourself, Walt. Jesus, what was I thinking? Walt, please, let's both of us stop trying to justify this whole thing and admit you're in danger.
Who are you talking to right now? Who is it you think you see? Do you know how much I make a year? I mean, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe it. Do you know what would happen if I suddenly decided to stop going into work? A business big enough that it could be listed on the NASDAQ goes belly up. Disappears. It ceases to exist without me. No, you clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
Has watched his books. If you want to be interested in purchasing them, they'll be outside at the table. They will sell them to you. Just a tremendous talk. So thank you. Thank you. Every month, third Sunday of the month. So welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's all right. And just throw the disc back up here.
Oh my